Welcome to the show. It's been a cool minute since our last episode. Funny enough, this episode probably should have been launched at the beginning of this month because I wanted to do it with, the new year, 2020, out of 2019, yay. But I mean, Lunar New Year's just passed, so that still counts, right? What do you guys think? I'm going to say it counts, but it's still January when this video is coming out? I hope so. It's going to be really embarrassing if it doesn't. So, what's new with everyone? GMK Olivia++ closed out 2019 in an explosive way. Over 6,000 base kits purchased. That deserves a round of applause, because that's truly impressive. Remember how round 1 barely made MOQ? It's crazy how things can change just like that, and I'm sure we'll see other crazy changes in the keyboard community in 2020. 2019 is gone, and we're living in the future, 2020. So what prosperous future awaits us this year? Well, already this month and next month, we have a bit on the horizon, Cat Lich, GMK Metaverse Round 2, GMK Darling. Hold on. That's a lot of weeb sets. Nice. We've also had DSS After School by Ryan Norbauer, which is heading into production. I'm curious to see what else he has up his sleeve, because 2019 was a great year for Ryan. The Heavy 6, the Normal Force, especially that Polycarb one. In his most recent email, he said he's working on other cool keyset designs coming in 2020. So that's going to be interesting. And for more keyset fun, there's going to be MECHMADNESS coming up on Dixie Mech, which will let us enjoyably look back at what's ran so far. Speaking of Dixie Mech, they had an extremely strong 2019, and they're poised to grow even larger this year. But it's not just keycaps that are exciting in 2020, because I'm sure we'll have a plethora of cool keyboards too. I mean, PFU Fujitsu just refreshed their HHKB line for the first time in a long time with modern sensibilities like USB-C. I'm actually in talks with PFU Fujitsu about an upcoming meetup that they're planning on hosting. I'll have more details about that very soon. We also have some keyboard group buys in the 1 year club, like the Xeno and Southpaw Full Size, finally shipping out, which is a nice way to start the year for those who ended up in both group buys. In 2020, we might find out if people are sick of the Alice layouts. They're not. And it's going to be chugging along. As gasket-mounted plates ran the gamut of sizes in 2019, I'm sure they're also going to be here to stay, but what other great innovations are we going to see in 2020? I mean, both Zeal and Cherry unveiled new switches at CES, and they're more than just a spring swap with a different colored stem. But I did a lot in 2019. I feel like I did a lot. I did okay, maybe an okay amount. I put out last year in 2019 124 videos, including stream VODs. I gained almost 2,000 subscribers. Among all of you, that's 14,764 watch hours, 5,617 total likes, and 250,000 views. Thank you everyone so much, because honestly, I couldn't have done it without y'all. 2020 looks like it'll be really exciting, so let's aim for more videos, better videos, and we're gonna have a great show tonight, so let's get to it. What's that ringing? Can you guys hear that? One second. What? Sorry, one moment. Hello? This is he. Is my refrigerator running? I'm sorry, everyone. I need to take this opportunity to find out if my fridge is, in fact, a transformer. Be right back. What a fool. Now it's time for Mad Keebs. Hello, I'm Mano Fintrists, and it's time for Mad Keebs. And let's talk about the question of the day. Can you use keysets as an investment tool? As someone who owns a tub of keycap sets, I hope this is at least partially true, so I can tell my family I'm simply diversifying my assets and not going too deep into a hobby that will ultimately leave me penniless and destitute. Wouldn't send me lose some. Even if the data works out, don't quit your day job. But yes, you did hear me. we have some data to comb through. But to be honest, as a little note before all of this, the data is, it's not super current. I took the data at the beginning of this month, so yeah. But let's think about the question of the day. Key sets as an investment tool? Surely, Mano, you jest. Well, maybe not. Go on Mech Market, look at the price of any GMK set on the market and compare it to the group buy price. Heck, if you've been in the community for at least a short length of time, you'll know that typically GMK sets will sell on the aftermarket at a higher price than the original group buy. Well, how do those returns compare with, say, gold, which can be a volatile investment, or index funds, a traditionally safer way to invest? Well, let's look at the data we have. Like I mentioned earlier, this data was taken earlier this month, so take it with a spoonful of salt or sugar. I don't know how you like to take your data. So, pull up the chart. So here are some sets. We got Olivia, Metaverse, up on the chart, even though the round 2 has happened, so the prices are bound to change once the new rounds ship. But hey, this gives us an impression of how things were right before those rounds happened, or as they were happening. This data is generated using the past 10 mech market sales of each set and taking the average. Nice and simple. This is the first chart on the screen with the average price, so let's go through them. Remember, the average of the last 10 sold on Mech Market as of mid to early January. In the over $300 club, we have GMK Olivia, GMK Serica, GMK Modern Dolch, and GMK Metaverse. GMK Olivia has already had the plus round, and Metaverse round 2 is going on right now. Use my promo code for $5 off. GMK Serica is still going strong, as the most recent Serica iteration was MT3 and not GMK. GMK Modern Dolch ran in late 2018, shipping early 2019. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have another run in late 2020, so The set is still sought after quite a bit. GMK DMG is right between that $200 to $300 mark at $258.80 as the average of the last 10 sets. There's a bit more to that story, but we're going to revisit that in just a second. Let's look at some of the surprises while we're still on this chart though. GMK Laser. The base kit still averages at $205.50. That's almost $100 higher than the group buy price. There were a lot of base kits, over 1,500 Cyberdeck base kits sold. Honestly, I would have expected GMK Laser base kits to be closer to like a $150 in the aftermarket, but it continues to be a popular set and the price demonstrates that. A set that is also surprising, GMK 9009. After 3 rounds, there are a lot of sets in circulation. Heck, the most recent round had it going for $99.99 per base kit. Yet we're still seeing an aftermarket price of almost twice that. So yeah, I mean, at the same time, popular GMK sets are of course pretty popular and they sell pretty well. So with that in mind, let's move on to our next chart. This chart shows the percentage change in price compared to the most recent group buy price. Here we see the real story. GMK DMG actually pretty low in the price change percentage at only 152%. That $258.80 sounds like a lot, but the group buy price was $169.99, which sits it at one of the higher base kit prices compared to the rest of the sets here. So an interesting oddity you might have noticed, GMK Carbon, how does it have less than a 100% rate of return? Hold on. There is an explanation for that. And here's the explanation. The most recent round of GMK Carbon actually had a higher base kit price than some of the rounds previous to it due to different compatibility, not hitting the same amount of MOQ, and, having split base kits. So this number isn't entirely accurate depending on what round of GMK you've entered as your reference amount. So if you've purchased a set along the older price of $100 or $110, you're in the black, you're good to go, you're going to get some return. All the way on the top is, of course, GMK Olivia, whose percentages are going to drop quite a bit once Olivia Plus ships. Until then, it's the top of this tower and the queen of it. I mean, rightly so. Over 6,000 base kits are going to be made for Olivia Plus. It's by far the most popular set this community has ever seen. Moving down the line, we have the usual suspects. GMK Camping, GMK Serica, GMK Modern Dolch, all holding over a 200% increase from the group buy price. Going down market, everything is still relatively okay until you hit Hyperfuse Origins. Hyperfuse Origins didn't have a group buy really, it just went, straight to retail on Originative, their typical model, meaning that there was a base price and it would not increase. There was a set level of supply, not affected by user desire, like with group buys, how they can have more or less sets in circulation depending on how many people purchase them. The main factor that probably ties Hyperfuse Origins back, other than the price, is, well, in my opinion, it's not the prettiest version of Hyperfuse. And on top of that, there have been so many versions of Hyperfuse. It's almost confusing. The cherry on top, like I said earlier, that retail price, $175, a bit steep. All the data will be available in the description down below in case you want to check it out. It's not up to date. You can update it if you like. But hey, it's there for you to take a gander at your own discretion. Yay! So, do key sets make a good ROI compared to traditional investments? Hell yeah, they do. Well, at least these sets that I have charted have a good ROI. Most of them. This can vary from set to set depending on the popularity and quantity of sets available. I'm not going to tell everyone that they should quit their jobs and start buying a ton of sets for investment purposes. I will say that if you are an enthusiast in the hobby, the financial value you earn from enjoying the hobby might offset all of that spending. But then again, if you spend and never sell, that never really applies to you, does it? So, between ABS, index funds, gold, and other options, have you considered diversifying your assets? Maybe ask your employer if they would be willing to match your ABS IRA contributions. Well, I'm Mano Fintrists with Mad Keebs. Putting the tie on, do you remember how to tie a tie, Huey? I do, because I used to have to wear a tie every weekend for speech and debates, because I used to do speech and debate even though I was pretty bad. But I learned how to tie a tie consistently.